Hi there, my name is Ariana and I'll be taking you on a journey across the Peruvian Andes. We'll meander through lush jungle, local villages, over 2 high passes to the amazing historical site of Machu Picchu. After meeting the group in Dublin airport, we took a short flight to Paris, where we boarded our long flight to Lima. When we arrived at Cusco airport, we grabbed our bags and were warmly welcomed by our expedition leader Edgar before we boarded a minibus to our hotel. The hotel was super comfortable with lots of places to relax. So we've just arrived into our hotel in Cusco. We are going to go down and explore some of the shops nearby and pick up some last minute bits before we head off on our trek. But this is the view from our room window. The hotel is super beautiful and yeah, we're very excited for the day tomorrow. After double checking we had all the necessary gear for the trek ahead, we headed out to explore the city of Cusco. We ate some delicious food and visited the local markets. We also picked up our trip mascot, Alana the llama, who would be joining us on our adventure. Morning, everybody. We are just about to head down for some breakfast before we head to Cristo Blanco at 3,700 meters. I'm very excited. We started our guided tour of the city in Plaza de Armas. Edgar and William told us all about the history of the city and the construction of the ancient walls erected by the Incas without the use of cement and mortar. As we ascended, we were afforded sweeping views of the city and the surrounding landscape. After snapping some photos at Cristo Blanco, we descended towards the ancient citadel of Sacsayhuaman, built by the Incas in the 15th century. Edgar and William knew so much about Cusco and the areas nearby. They were full of knowledge and had all sorts of interesting things to share with us. We made our way back to Cusco and visited the bustling San Pedro market. After an exciting day of trekking, we enjoyed some delicious fruit smoothies and explored the market. The next morning we boarded our bus to the trailhead and stopped off for some breakfast on the way. We had some fresh, locally grown fruit, buttery bread and jam, even some birthday cake and coffee to get us all energised for the day ahead. We finally reached Cachora, the start of our trek. We started by climbing 20 minutes to a small pass before descending almost 1,500 metres into the stunning Apurimac Canyon. We had a challenging day on the trail as we descended down rocky terrain and loose shale, which proved to be very taxing on our knees. However, one of the horsemen, Condor, played some lovely flute music which had everyone in great spirits. We took a well-deserved break and had lunch in Choquequirao. We enjoyed some corn on the cob, a delicious butternut squash soup, bread and refreshing cold drinks before continuing on to our campsite at Playa Rosalina, situated on the banks of the Apurimac River. We were provided with hot water to wash and then settled in for dinner that evening in the mess tent. Day 5 was a tough day on the trail, with an overall elevation gain of 1,700 metres. As we crossed the river, we started the 1,500 metre climb up to Marampata. This usually takes about 6 hours to complete with regular breaks. The weather was absolutely fantastic throughout the trip, meaning we could stay cool and comfortable in shorts and t-shirts. We stopped for lunch and a good rest in Marampata, which offered amazing views of our route so far. At lunch, we were introduced to our 4 amazing cooks who'd be making all of our meals for the duration of the trek. From Marampata, we followed an undulating trail cut into the mountainside to reach our campsite below Choquequirao. Evenings in the camp were marked by popcorn and tea before indulging in delicious meals featuring pork, chicken, the freshest avocado you'll ever taste, salads, pasta, rice, and hearty stews. Desserts were plentiful, including poached sweet pears with sugary syrup and even a second birthday cake. We kicked day 6 off with another yummy breakfast, enjoying some toast, fruit, pancakes and some very strong Peruvian coffee before climbing for less than an hour to reach Choquequirao. We spent a beautiful morning exploring the ruins with a guided tour from Edgar and William. We were the only group in Choquequirao that morning, which felt so special. To have the entire site to ourselves was pure magic. Our morning spent in Choquequirao was the highlight of the trek for me. The mesmerising view of the ancient Inca ruins and the surrounding mountains left me awestruck. It was an experience that I will cherish for a lifetime. After a tasty lunch of noodles and fresh vegetables in Choquequirao, we climbed for 1 hour to reach Choquequirao Pass, and then descended for 2 hours to our campsite. This is a stunning campsite as our tents were perched on Inca terraces, where we enjoyed the sunset with panoramic mountain views. We started day 7 with an hour-long downhill section to reach the Rio Blanco, which means White River in Spanish. As we approached the river, we entered into the cloud forest, which is rich in biodiversity. From the river, it took 6 hours to climb up to our campsite in the tiny village of Maizal. We stopped along the way for plenty of water breaks, and our guide surprised us with some snacks and bread on the trail. Out of all the campsites, this was my favourite, as we had plenty of time to unwind, bask in the sun with the chickens, and even practice some yoga. There were water taps where we could wash our clothes before sitting back and enjoying the breathtaking views of the surrounding landscape.
Day 8 began by following an ancient Inca path as we ascended for 5 hours to reach Victoria Pass at 4,150 metres. We passed lots of lush greenery on the way, followed by some morning music from Condor. Our route takes us past the Victoria Silver Mine, which was used by the Inca and later colonial times but is now abandoned. From the pass, we descended for 2 hours and then climbed gradually to our campsite in Yanama village. Here, we were able to buy cold drinks and pay $10 for our first hot shower since Cusco. Definitely the best $10 I think I've ever spent. We then relaxed for the rest of the afternoon. On day 9, we reached the highest point on our journey. It was foggy and drizzled rain a little bit in the early hours of the morning as we were leaving camp. Leaving behind the farmers' fields and lush vegetation in Yanama, we climbed for 5 to 6 hours to reach Yanama Pass at 4,668 metres. It was such an incredible achievement. We then descended all the way to Totora village, where we said goodbye to our amazing horsemen, who ensured our gear went to and from each campsite in one piece. Day 10 of the trek. After leaving Totora village, we descended through a valley covered in trees, beautiful plants and flowers. We also passed several waterfalls, crossed streams and wooden bridges along the way. We finished our trek in La Playa and boarded a minibus to the coffee farm for lunch and a coffee tour. We got stuck in right away as the cooks began preparing for us a traditional Peruvian lunch called pachamanca. This method of cooking, which dates back thousands of years, involves creating a pit in the earth and filling it with piping hot stones. Meats such as pork and chicken are wrapped in leaves or paper and placed on the hot stone bed. Potatoes, peas, pineapple and plantains are then put on top before the entire pit is covered in huge banana leaves and soil. While the food cooked, we began our coffee tour. Freddie, the owner of the farm, told us all about how the coffee gets harvested, processed and then roasted. Freddie was full of knowledge and so passionate about his farm. We even got to try some very tiny bananas cut fresh from a nearby tree. We had so much fun picking and collecting the coffee cherries from the trees. We all got the opportunity to join in and help brew some delicious Peruvian coffee. The coffee tasted amazing, and we even got to buy some to take home before leaving. As our coffee tour came to an end, our lunch had just finished cooking and whoa, did it taste amazing. The sweet taste of the plantain and pineapple combined with the smoky meats and veg was such a treat. We boarded the bus back to our campsite and made our way to the Cocomayo hot springs to relax for the evening. In the morning, we boarded a bus to the hydroelectric station before trekking along the train tracks to Aguas Calientes. It was an easy-going day on the trail as we passed by lots of beautiful greenery and listened out for the different birds and animals in the forest. We arrived into Aguas Calientes in the early afternoon and checked into our hotel ahead of our trip to Machu Picchu the next day. Day 12. After taking a bus up to the site, we finally got to take in the awe-inspiring scenery of Machu Picchu. Walking among the meticulously crafted terraces and corridors, we marvelled at the ingenuity of the Incan architects, who created the site in such a remote place. Every corner we turned revealed a new perspective, a new facet of this architectural wonder. Standing in a place so steeped in history was an incredibly humbling experience. After so many days trekking, it felt amazing to be able to witness one of the 7 wonders of the world. It was a day we would never forget. Following our guided tour of the site, we climbed the steep trail up Machu Picchu mountain. The heights were dizzying at times, but the views made it all worthwhile. After our visit to Machu Picchu, we visited some local markets in Aguas Calientes before enjoying some dinner later that evening. The next day, we made our way back to Cusco, enjoyed a celebratory team dinner in a beautiful restaurant that evening before hitting the karaoke bar. This trip is a true cultural immersion, offering a glimpse of the city, but also an opportunity to delve into traditional Peruvian cuisine, partake in the art of crafting Peruvian coffee, visit 2 of the most magnificent architectural Incan creations, and finally experience the Andean wilderness. Our expedition leader Edgar and guide William were so knowledgeable and encouraged us every step of the way. They couldn't have been more helpful, anticipating our needs before we did. Our horsemen and cooks were some of the nicest people we'd ever met. I'm so lucky to have met such an amazing group of people and to have shared this life-changing experience with them. We laughed, we cried, and supported each other every step of the way, making it a very special expedition for all of us. Since my expedition to Machu Picchu, we've updated the itinerary for this trip and included a stay at the Wajaqui Eco Lodge on day 3. This lodge has been set up by our expedition leader Edgar and is made up of huts that are constructed from recycled wood and other materials and is surrounded by stunning mountain views. There's even a small bar where you can try a pisco sour and a fire pit to relax beside and sip on a hot mug of coca tea. We are absolutely delighted to be able to add the hidden gem that is the Wajaqui Eco Lodge to the roster of incredible experiences we offer on our Machu Picchu trek. Thanks so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this vlog following our journey to Machu Picchu. Comment below if you have any questions about the trek and be sure to subscribe to the Earth's Edge channel.
As a certified B Corp, we focus on having a positive impact on both the environment and the communities we visit. We also set the highest safety standard of any expedition company in the world by having both an expedition leader and a doctor on each and every one of our trips. For more info on our sustainability policies, safety standards, and to see our range of expeditions, visit our website earths-edge.com.